Welcome to the Unstoppable Leadership Spotlight, influential leaders and their game-changing insights. I'm Jaclyn, CEO and founder of Leap to Your Success. That's leaptoyoursuccess.com. We help entrepreneurs, leaders, and CEOs grow their business, become unstoppable high achievers in their careers and life, gaining that 1% edge. We believe every professional has the power within them to leap to their greatest success that not only will impact their life, but the lives of the people they touch. So stick around to the end of the show and we will share with you how you can be our next guest. So stick around for those 15 to 20 minutes and let's be unstoppable. Hi, and welcome to the Unstoppable Leadership Spotlight podcast, where we hear from influential leaders and their game-changing insights. I'm Jaclyn, your host, and today I want to welcome our amazing guest, Jennifer. And your company is Rejuvenate Marketing, but we have known each other for a while, so we've done business together. And so I'm going to have Jennifer share a little bit about her background. And welcome to the show. So good to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. So I have a couple of brands with my business. My ultimate brand business is Jenn Living, and under that falls Rejuvenate Marketing, Jenn Marie Cuisine, and books and all the other stuff that I do. About a year and a half ago, I introduced Jenn Living. So it just fell into a natural progression. A little background on me. I spent 30 years in corporate America, mostly in a lot of years in tech, 20 years in California. And when we decided to have a child, we moved to Reno, and I just stopped everything and became a stay-at-home mom. And that's really where my shift in my life really happened.
So on your journey, and because you've had a great career and being a mom and what you're doing now, what was a defining moment in this journey that really defined or maybe even transformed what you thought of leadership and how you personally lead in your life?
So when I think of leadership, I thought back to all the different leaders I had in my career, and I had many leaders in my career in the course of a 27-year in hardcore career, 30 year, I guess it's 30 years now, but 27 years in corporate America, certainly. Just looking for things that I could grab from other people, really. I positioned myself in the beginning of my career as an assistant, as a side person, and I worked with senior level executives, and that was my secret way into corporate America and into learning different leadership styles and what worked and what didn't, and what I liked and what I didn't like. And I definitely struggled for a while of not being able to define who I was as a person. And in the book that I was a co-author in last year, my chapter is called What You Do Defines Who You Become. And that's really what that's really all about, is how I took what I learned from other people and then was able to take an introspective look into myself and realize what were the skills that I had, what were the skills that I knew that they had that I admired or that I wanted, or what were the things I didn't want, and rebuild myself to model the person that I wanted to become versus the person that I was becoming based on other people's influences on me.
Mm. So when you think about obviously what you liked, what you didn't like, what was one defining moment that you can think of in your career that was like, oh my God, I either want to be like that or I don't want to be like that?
So I actually talk about this in my chapter in my book too. There was this one moment, I will never forget it, and it shaped me in many ways because it held me back. Someone told me, and this is back in the days, got to understand, this is probably like 2005, something like that. And I was applying for a sales position in technology. I was in marketing at the time. And the sales manager told me that I would never be able to do sales because I never held a bag. And that means, like back in the old days, men would take their bags door to door and sell things. And I believed him. However, in looking back, I have been selling my entire life. I'm the girl who sold fruitcakes at a door and band and had one of the top sales. I'm the girl who collected for every charity with my mom door to door. I was always selling things, but I never believed it was selling because I never had that title of oh, you're a salesperson. So when this person told me that information about myself, I was crushed and I believed it. And that was something, if I could look back and look at myself in that moment and look at myself and say, girl, you do not listen to anybody who tells you who they think you are, because you know who you are.
And as a mom, I would say no matter what, and I think it's one of those big things that people should also always know. I don't care what title you have today, whether you are operations manager, VP of marketing, maybe you're heading a call center or customer service. I hate to tell you, you're in sales. We are
Yeah,
all right. We're
absolutely.
all in sales. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
And as a mom, that is like the number one sales job.
That's so true. That's so true. And we're raising a little sales girl. She does many things, but the confidence that we're instilling in her to give her that mindset already that we know she can do it and we believe in her is huge. And a lot of women in my generation, our generation certainly, didn't grow up with those kinds of influences surrounded with them in the workplace. It was, here's your lane, stay in your lane. And I'm a huge believer in transferable skills.
Right.
I think if you have a certain skill set, you can also learn more things. But if you're a well-educated person who's motivated and driven, that you can do many things.
Yeah.
And one of the challenges that you create for yourself is when you let somebody pigeonhole you into something and they define
Right.
who you are instead of you defining who you are.
So thinking back to that moment, and obviously, as you said, going back and thinking about what they said, what helped you and what led you to almost like break that thought and know that you could do sales? Like what gave you the belief in yourself?
Time. I didn't for a long time because I believed it. And I was like, I convinced myself that wasn't for me and that wasn't what I was gonna do. It wasn't until many decades later, after having a daughter and deciding to become a stay-at-home mom, that I thought back to that moment. I did not realize how much that moment influenced the courses of the choices that I made in my life. I was defined as a marketing leader, and that's what I did. And I didn't want to dip in the other side because I thought there was too much risk involved. So I stayed my path and I was really good at it. I think I'm very good at marketing. I love it. I'm a strategist by heart. So by practice. So I just stayed that path. And it wasn't until I had my daughter when I looked at direct sales opportunities, which I had tried before, and I really hadn't been successful at it because I really didn't want to do it because, again, someone told me I couldn't sell.
Right.
That I was like, what do you like? I was just looking at the market I was entering and I was like, I love to cook. I'm really good in the kitchen. I'm all about efficiency. I probably have something that I could share with people that they could learn from. And that shifted my mind when I started realizing that I could marry the expertise I had in marketing with my passion for cooking with something that I wanted to do and help other people with. That's what really changed. And that changed me in so many ways. I can't even begin to tell you that. And that change didn't happen until I was older, much older.
But finding that passion and turning that passion that you had and realizing that and then realizing the belief in yourself that I have a
Right.
gift to offer people, which is something obviously what we hope that as an audience, if as you're listening to this, take that moment and realize that if you have people on your team to help them know what their passions are and never say to somebody, oh, you can't do that, or you don't have the skill set. If they want to do that, how awesome would it have been if that person said to you, let's help you hone that skill of being a salesperson, and if that's something you want to do, right? Helping
Right.
people find that passion in themselves. Thinking again about that was a momentous time. Well, was there a time in your life where you, in that corporate world, where you felt or faced a significant, or you really saw what we would some people say as failure, or a time in your life where you had a failure? And how did you transform out of that to create a win?
I have failures all the time. People fail every day. What I learned in tech is what I practice every day in my life: fast fail. You fail, you get up and you move on and do something else. You're not in an environment where you're going to be successful all the time. I sat in the room with the smartest people in the world every single day. It was humbling, but it was the education of you don't quit. you keep going and you find a way. There's this relentlessness in me because of it. And the cultures that I was raised in my career taught me that you don't quit. There is a way, you just have to find it. And as far as failure, yeah. And I always took on the large rocks up hills jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I took the job that nobody really wanted to take, or the job that wasn't quite defined, or the project that was the biggest launch that was going to change the world. In so many different projects I worked on. So I already signed up for hard stuff. I don't think when I signed up for hard stuff, I thought about failure. I thought about the enthusiasm, the experience I had, my ability to collaborate with other people and bring other people along with me on the journey, more than I thought of how am I going to do this? And that's what motivated me, is finding ways to partner. And partnering was always something that I really enjoyed doing.
Yeah. No, partnering with people and not thinking about it, as you said, not thinking about the failure, but thinking just, this is what I'm doing. So
Mm-hmm.
who helped you, or who are the people in your life that really helped mold you to be the leader that you are and to bring out what what I always like to say is your achievement code, what your values are in that?
Yes, I talk about this in a talk that I do about renovating your life. I think one of the most important things for us, especially as women, to have is what I like to call a board of directors. And this is a virtual board of people that you keep in your life, that you keep close to your heart, that you keep close, that you trust, that they know you. They're going to tell you, like, you're nuts. They're going to tell you that's a great idea. They're going to connect you with the right people that you need to be connected to make your idea happen. And these are like this is a virtual table of people that you keep in, and you swap these people out based on what you need and how you need to grow. But this is like a concept I came up with a couple of years of what I have been doing to survive in the workplace for all these years. It hasn't been one specific person. It's been different elements of different people from different reasons. Some of my mentors have sadly passed away. Some of them I called one of them just before this meeting about, like, where do I find, what kind of microphone should I get? Tell me where to go. And those are the people that you trust, you've built these relationships with. And they're not just necessarily business relationships, they're personal relationships, they're friendships, and they go beyond the walls of the job that you're in the moment or the thing that you're doing in the moment, because you bring them along with you. And that's been like the most valuable thing that I never could tangibly explain, which now I explain with it. It is a personal board of directors.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a business has a board of directors, you, as your own business, own the people that you surround yourself with. Choose
Right.
wisely.
No, and it's so true. And I talk a lot about being the CEO of you and being the CEO of your
Mm-hmm.
life. And that is part of it, is own the people that are around you, because the people that surround you, they will help elevate your energy or lower your energy. And your vibe attracts your tribe, and your tribe also creates your vibe. So they go hand in hand. So
Mm-hmm.
when you're thinking about all the things you do, because there's a lot of things that you do that are amazing. So what kind of legacy do you want to leave as a leader? And how do you ensure that you're creating that legacy in your daily actions?
The most important legacy to me is being a mom. That's just number one. And if I can leave a legacy so that my daughter is proud of what her mother has done, and it doesn't have to be my corporate legacy, it is my legacy of what she's seen me become, as watching me every single day with what I work on, what I'm passionate for, what I talk about. That to me is the ultimate achievement of success in my life. If that is the only thing I do, I die a happy woman. As far as my legacy, I think the stories that I share and the vulnerability that I share about my life and about my journey has not been a pretty one, and it has not been an easy road traveled at all. It's been full of failures. It's been full of disappointment, unexpected turns from everything, for just anything you could possibly imagine. And I think when people see that in an authentic way, and they can see that you're a real person who still has stood up every day and risen no matter what. And trust me, there's been days I don't want to get out of bed. Absolutely. But there's this thing inside of me that I remind myself that it is important to me to stand up every single day and show up. And that's the number one thing that you can do. And that becomes your legacy, because when you make that decision and you have that shift in your mind that you're going to show up no matter what, you are keeping the ultimate commitment to yourself. And that's a legacy alone.
Yeah. And that is so important these days, keeping that commitment to yourself and showing up for yourself, because so many times we show up, we're thinking maybe we're showing up for the wrong reasons, but we have to always show up for ourselves first and foremost. So, what are some of the biggest things that you're working on right now as a leader, or or even for your leadership to be the best leader?
Going back to showing up for yourself, I think the biggest change I made in my life is shifting my mind. I think that I've come to the realization, the importance of your mind shifting. And I've had several mind shifts in the last year where I've decided, year and a half, where I decided I'm going to do something and then I do it. Like I used to go through this process of I'm thinking about it, it's going to happen, or maybe I will, or it's too much, it's too risky. Now I'm like, I'm doing it. Like I'm just going to do it. That's a decision that I made, and that's a mind shift. And one example of that is in the last 8 months, I've started a rigorous workout program, from convincing myself that I was healthy and taking good care of myself to having the doctor say, if you don't get your cholesterol in check, you're going to be on meds. And I'm like, no, I am not going to be on meds. I need to go figure this out for myself. So I set up myself on a program. And the number one thing I did every day was I showed up. I got out of bed. And
Mhm.
then I decided that if I was going to do it, I needed to make it happen early in the morning. So I switched my schedule. And then I said, okay, now I did this. Now I'm going to add weights to it. And so I created something for myself that didn't exist before, just because I made a commitment to myself and I put myself first. Not saying that I didn't care about my family or do things for my family. Of course I did. But I made time in my day for myself that showed a sense of self-respect and love for myself that I hadn't shown myself in a long time. Um, so I think like that alone right there is just,
Yeah.
as a leader, that's the number one thing you could do, is figure out a way to make yourself a priority and take care of yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, it all falls apart anyway. So, and most of us miss that.
No, it is so important for us to actually to take the time. Exercise is so important for ourselves, for how we feel, our mind. It is, as I am a firm believer in working out and getting up, and it's something that I do religiously and
Yep.
have done since I was, oh my God, for a very long time, since 18, 16, something, whatever. And it's true. And I know for myself, and I think a lot of people, one of the things that they say when you do that, it's not just the exercise, it is showing up for yourself, but it's also the feeling you get when you've done something and you've started your day. It's like making your bed, right?
Mhm.
Like make your bed every day. You've accomplished at least one thing already within the first 5 minutes, right?
I'll never get to the bed making thing, but this workout program I started before I turned 55, and that was changing your habits when you're older is difficult, but it's not impossible. And I wanted to prove to myself that that I actually could do that and make that happen. And then on top of that, I decided to try something totally new and get my real estate license at the same time. So I rigorously studied. I went to classes 5 days a week. At the same time, I was working my other job of marketing, and everything else that I do. But I decided to keep those commitments to myself. And I think that's the difference. And that's the example that you show when you're a leader, is that you don't just talk about it. You take those small, and they're small steps. It's okay. I'm opening up my book today. Then I look down and be like, oh my gosh, I don't know any of this. I have to learn 1,500 terms that are totally new to me that I never knew. And I haven't gone to school since grad school in 2004. What am I doing? That shift in my mind to show up every single day and get through that pile of cards that are back there on that shelf, you can see that big box,
Yeah.
is just part of it, right? Because that is showing the world, me, and especially me, my daughter, that there is nothing that is so impossible that you can't get through without getting started. You just have to start and show
Right.
up.
Start, show up, and set your mind to the fact that you know that you can do it. And we can learn
Mm-hmm.
anything at any age. You just have to be open and willing
Mm-hmm.
to do it. It's not something that's forced, but it's a decision that you make that you are going to do something, and we can learn anything at any age. It's my dad, one of the things that I learned early on from my parents and my dad in particular is that you can decide to shift and learn something at any age. And so
Mm-hmm.
big kudos to you for that, for taking that on. And congratulations for getting your real estate license.
It's exciting. It's
It's huge.
exciting.
It's
But
really cool.
but for me, it was a passion too, right? Because I've been working with someone for a while with with my marketing, a business, and it was bringing me into real estate. And actually, he's the person who we actually bought our house from. We moved here from Reno. So you never, I'll say too, you just never know who you meet and how they're going to fall into place in your life or not.
Yeah.
And when I saw like the opportunity for me being a relocating mom, knowing not one single person when I moved here, except for my real estate agent, and how many people I know now just by becoming engaged in the community and making the mind shift that I was going to get out of my house and show up for stuff to where I am now, where I felt comfortable doing something like that. That just says everything about showing up for yourself.
Right. And yeah, showing up for yourself. And as you grow a team, it's showing up for them too. So
Right.
it is so,
Leading by example.
yeah, and it is so important. So as guests, as you're listening, remember, take that lead by example because it is really true. So Jennifer, how can people find you? Because I know you've got a wealth of stuff. Where can people find you on in the world?
Yeah. So JennMarieLiving.com, JENN MarieLiving.com is my main website. And from there, my other websites go, but I also have RejuvenateMarketing.com and JennMarieCuisine.com.
And where do you hang out the most? Like on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram?
I'm on all of them. I do everything equally, probably less on LinkedIn because LinkedIn I use more selectively. Instagram daily. If you're looking for cooking and tips and recipes and stuff, I have a cooking channel too. My marketing work is on my website. I do stuff for that. I do a lot of writing and that's on my website as well. A lot of what I do is I think in essence, I'm really a storyteller.
That's awesome. So listeners, take and listen to this as really key to lead by example. Connect with Jennifer on all of the socials because she has so many great things to offer. She, as she said, she's got a great sense of from cooking to marketing. You need to connect with her and follow her lead. So this is the Unstoppable Leadership Spotlight podcast. And I thank you guys for listening. And thank you, Jennifer, for being a guest.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
I'm Jaclyn Strominger, and I want to thank you so much for listening to the Unstoppable Leadership Spotlight, Influential Leaders and Their Game-Changing Insights podcast. If you are a successful CEO, entrepreneur, or leader in your industry, and you have insights you would like to share, we want you to be a guest on this program. So please visit go.leaptoyoursuccess.com/podcast. And if you have gotten something out of this interview and you'd like to share the episode on social media, just go ahead and take a screenshot with your phone and text it to a friend or post it on socials. If you know somebody who would be a great guest, please tag them on social media and let them know about the show and include the hashtag Unstoppable Leadership Spotlight. I love seeing your posts and your guest suggestions. So we regularly are putting out new episodes and content. So please make sure you don't miss any episodes and go ahead and hit subscribe. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show, and they mean so much to me and my team. You want to know more about the podcast or about Leap to Your Success? Just go to the website leaptoyoursuccess.com or follow me, Jaclyn Strominger, on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Just plug in my name, Jaclyn, that's JACLYN Strominger, STROMINGER, and follow me on all the socials. So thank you so much for listening. And remember, be unstoppable.